Well, Julie Iles is the county councillor responsible for most of Surrey schools and joins us now. Very good morning to you, Julie. So how is the council continuing to work alongside schools?
Well, I think I'll start first of all by thanking the school leaders. I do try and do this whenever you ask me on the programme, because they are working in difficult circumstances, and also as the residents were responding to Jack's questions there, I think the residents have continued to be patient and supportive with the school leaders and teaching staff, because these are challenging times. But they're not working on their own. We've got assistance from the Department of Education, we've got the health protection teams and our Surrey County Council officers from Education and Public Health. So there's a lot of expert advice and guidance to schools about how to manage suspected cases and any confirmed outbreaks of COVID in their settings. And we're all working in partnership because we're committed to letting children access education, because we know it's the best place for them to be. We see that from the fallout of the previous lockdown and, the way that children are attaining.
Yes, that's it, isn't it? And the impact of either completely closing schools or telling certain year groups that they have to learn from home, that can be massive for both pupils and parents alike. But is it inevitable, do you think, we have to accept that this will just happen a lot this year?
Well, it's the nature of the virus, isn't it, Leslie? We know more about it now than we did. And we know that children are not at great risk from it. They're amongst the lowest risk members of the community. We have to look at those cases where we've got extremely vulnerable students or staff. So we give advice alongside the GP about risk assessments on an individual basis. But our schools have become really adept at delivering a remote learning offer. It's different than when lockdown first happened, where we perhaps had pupils that weren't equipped with laptops and couldn't access the internet and so on. That remote learning offer doesn't fully compare to the learning opportunity and experience that you get in the school environment, but it does mean that things can continue to a level, but only with the assistance of the parents at home. And we know that's challenging when they're also trying to work from home. So
yes,
I think everybody's doing their very best, but it is challenging.
And we know about what's happening in Oxted and in Chertsey. Are you able to say how widespread the problem is and how many schools are affected?
It's difficult to say across the whole of the county, and it's better to rely on the local communications that are coming out from schools. There have been instances where we've had to send home some pupils, some year groups, some social bubbles, but Jack did a pretty good roundup in his report as to what the latest situation is. And I don't think that the people you interviewed were against the fact that when this happens, the school have to take the right measures to try and contain any outbreaks. It's what you would expect, isn't it?
And we're hearing lots of news pretty much daily about these vaccines. And you mentioned that children are in the lowest risk members of the community. Do we know yet if this is something that teachers or those working at schools or indeed pupils will be in line to get?
Well, I'd like to think that our teachers will be in line to get it. We hear about the prioritisation of older residents and of our NHS workers. Our teachers and teaching staff are on the front line as well. And the longer we can keep them at school, the more pupils we can keep in that setting. And I think we've done pretty well. Our attendance is largely in line with last year's, and it compares very well to national data. So we will do everything that we can to support our teachers. There are teachers who have to shield and can't be in that setting. And I've said to you before, my own daughter is a teacher, yes. So very much front and central of our thinking, because we can't do this without them. And as I say, they are on the front line, so they deserve our support and our thanks throughout this period.
Yeah, absolutely, they do. Thanks so much, Julie, for your time.